What's going on in the Soft Skill channel? Grab your preferred drink, make yourself comfortable. We'll have a look at that today. Welcome to the Soft Skill channel. My name is Sebastian Jung, and today it's time for another channel update. In the last few weeks, we talked about workplace ergonomics, working from home, and we've had the book review for Reading in the Brain. Working from home was more popular than the workplace ergonomics one, especially in the German channel that has some more views. I guess this is because working from home is currently a rather important topic due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But workplace ergonomics is also a very important and very basic topic. So it's good we've talked about that. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Reading in the Brain book review has been doing. At the time I'm recording this video, I don't know yet. Now the first book review, the one about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, that one was quite popular. It's one of the 3 most watched videos on this channel, together with the first How to Deal with Stress video and the channel update from June, which is also my channel trailer. Now, this is probably because 7 Habits of Highly Effective People has sold millions of copies and has a huge fan base. So Reading in the Brain will probably have trouble catching up to that. But still, it's a very interesting book. And I think the video turned out pretty good as well. So if you didn't, better have a look at it. Now, what's to come in the next weeks? I've already mentioned that I will talk a bit about what soft skills actually are, and this I will do next week. In What Are Soft Skills? I will talk about different definitions, ideas, etc. There are about soft skills, and I will also talk about my personal point of view about the topic. After that, we'll talk about formal business attire. In case you have to face the issue that your new job requires formal clothing with a suit and a tie rather than casual clothing, and you are not sure what to buy and not sure what is important, then this video will be quite helpful to you. And after that, we will have another book review, this time about Factfulness by Hans Rosling. This is quite an interesting and exciting book, and the video is pretty good too. There is a scene where I show a screencast, so technological wonders await you. Make sure to have a look at that, and to make sure that you don't miss any content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. The Soft Skill channel is now 3 months old, and we have a small anniversary, milestone, whatever you would like to call it, because the working from home video is the 10th video on this channel. Now, that's nice. Now, this is a good time for a short look back at what happened previously. Now for us, obviously the channel is more than 3 months old because our work started long before the first video was released. Our first recordings date back to late March, early April. And in April, the most important thing was to tinker with the equipment, to figure out the technological side of things, and to get a decent video quality. Lighting was the greatest challenge there. Lighting is quite important for your video quality, for your image quality, and it took us a while to really figure that out and to get a decent setup. In May, we continued to tinker with the equipment, but we also focused on content. We did a lot of trial runs for the how to deal with stress videos, and also in May we recorded the final versions for those videos. Also in April and May we established some standards for the channel. Last month I showed you this short
Herzlich willkommen. Heute möchte ich Ihnen ein besseres Verständnis.
Now, this is the first recording, the first trial recording we ever did for the channel, and as you can see, a lot has changed since then. We've moved into a different room for the recordings. I'm not standing anymore. I now have this table, which is very helpful because I can place my microphone here. I can have my glass of water. I can place books on the table, or I can have the friendly lion at my side. Now this is quite helpful. And the style also changed a bit. As you can see, I'm no longer wearing the jacket, and considering it is now summer and we have above 30 degrees Celsius in this room, I'm quite glad about that. Now the channel also became less formal in general. For example, in German I use a less formal form to address my viewers. I thought, well, I won't pass as highly professional, super serious anyway, so I can as well be friendly, which I prefer anyways. On May 29th, our first video, How to Deal with Stress Part 1, was finally released and the channel started. And during June, the biggest challenge for us was to get into a decent workflow and to develop a decent routine for producing the videos, and to get into that regular production cycle. Obviously, we also recorded multiple videos in May when we did the How to Deal with Stress series, but it's different if the channel is really running and you have deadlines and everything, and you can't just say, oh well, we'll start a week later. But I think we've got this figured out pretty well by now, and we've developed a decent routine. In July, for one thing, we tried to do more advertising for the channel with mediocre results, but we'll stick to that and keep improving. And on the other hand, we started to make improvements to the channel and to the videos. For example, I now often sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and I watch a video that is a couple of weeks old, and I take notes, I check which informations I convey, I check where there are funny moments, how well I speak, how well I talk, if I repeat a lot of words. For example, there was one video where I started almost all of my sentences with now, which is not so good, so I'm trying to improve on that. And there are also some videos where for a long time there is nothing, there is very little entertainment, no funny moments, and it's a bit dry and not so pleasant to watch, so I'm also trying to improve that. Heat is always a problem for us. The room is pretty hot now in summer. We have a small air conditioning device, but during the recordings we have to turn it off because it is rather noisy. So the room gets hotter while we record, and in some videos you see some wet, sweaty patches on my clothing, which is not so nice. We try to reduce this as much as possible, but we won't be able to get rid of it entirely. And especially for the English versions, I'm also still trying to improve my pronunciation and to improve my speech in general. I'm still training and trying to make improvements. As I mentioned before, I'm always reading aloud novels to my girlfriend, so I get some routine in speaking English. And I think there have been some improvements, but I'm still trying to get better at it. Speaking of improvements, we've made some minor, small improvements you might not have noticed. For example, you might have seen sometimes that we've had a little issue here with the image quality because the microphone's pop filter, it often has rather strong flickering, which is an effect that happens due to the green screen. And in the newer videos, I always fix this. I use a rather crude solution for that. I just take a static image from somewhere in the video, and for this little area that's causing problems, I just place the static image over the video. As I said, it's a bit crude, but it looks decent and it works, so why not? And I've also made adjustments to our thumbnails. I replaced the rather dull color we've had before with a more vibrant one. Have a look. This was the old version, and this is what the new ones look like. And also for the images that are shown in the thumbnails, up to now I've always selected a scene from somewhere in the video, but this caused some videos, some thumbnails to end up with an image that is not very distinct, that is maybe not very interesting. So for our stress and recreation video, we now created a new thumbnail image that is more funny, more interesting. Have a look. This was the old image and this is the new one. I think it turned out nice, and we plan to replace some more of the older thumbnail images with newer, more distinct ones. I also received some nice feedback in the German version of the channel. One thing that was recommended to me was to have some more text. So as you can see, I'm now showing the topic we are currently talking about, so it's easier to follow my speech, to understand the structure of the video. And another recommendation I received was to have timestamps. And this I'm also trying for the first time in this video. In the video description there is a list of topics with timestamps, so you can jump to certain parts of the video as you wish. And also, if you hover the mouse over the timeline, you can see the different sections, the different parts of the video. Now, I'm really interested to know how you like those changes, if you like those improvements, and if you would like to have them in all the future videos. So please let me know in the comments. Furthermore, I've added hashtags to both the upcoming and the older videos. You can see those above the video title. And as you might have seen in our Reading in the Brain video, we now also have a short outro where you can subscribe to the channel and you get a recommendation for another video. And also, if the video is part of a series, you can you'll find a playlist that includes the other related videos. And that outro screen features the little lion. I think it turned out nicely. Let me know what you think of that. And of course, there will be certainly future exciting developments in the channel. There is always more to come, and for you there are certainly a lot of further interesting topics to be released. For example, I have some light reading here. This is a well-known work about communication by a German psychologist. I will talk about in the future. And I will also talk about the topic of time management, and I'm still thinking about doing a small series on progressive muscle relaxation, though this will certainly come sooner or later. There will be a lot of exciting new topics. If there are certain topics you would like to see on this channel, please let me know in the comments. Now I'm glad to have you here in the channel and also in the channel update. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'm always happy to receive a like for this video. We will see each other next week in What Are Soft Skills? Until then, I'll take my leave. Have a nice day. See you next time. That turned out fine, I think.
Yeah, it looked great.